The routine was a worn groove, a path of least resistance I had walked 1,000 times before. It was just past 2 in the morning when I woke with a dry throat, the leftover heat of the day trapped in the bedroom air. I moved down the hallway by memory alone, my bare feet avoiding the creaking board near the linen closet and the sharp edge of the runner rug without conscious thought. In the dark, the house felt less like a place and more like an extension of my body, a second skin of plaster and wood that existed to keep the night at bay. There was comfort in that blindness, in the certainty that everything remained exactly where I had left it hours earlier. At the sink, as I filled a glass with water, the comfort of the routine snagged on something invisible. I turned toward the living room, and for reasons I couldn't immediately name, the geometry of the space felt wrong. Nothing had moved. The armchair was still angled toward the television, the books still leaned on the side table, but the context had drained away. The moonlight on the floor didn't look like light anymore. It looked artificial, like a pale shape imposed on a reality that had quietly stopped agreeing with itself. The room ceased to be my home and became merely a room, fabric, wood, and angles arranged in a way that suddenly felt arbitrary, almost staged. A cold sense of alienation crept in. Standing there, the glass sweating in my hand, I felt the indifference of the walls. For years I had projected warmth onto these objects, convinced myself they held my history and reflected it back to me. Now, stripped of that illusion, the house revealed itself as a shell. It did not know me. It did not care that I was awake inside it. I felt like an intruder who had wandered onto a stage after the actors had gone home, surrounded by props that mimicked life but contained no pulse. The silence, once a companion, became heavy in listening, emphasizing my solitude not as a choice, but as a fact. An anxious hum bloomed in my chest, not fear of the dark, but fear of clarity. I felt exposed, as if the roof had been lifted and I was standing beneath an immense, indifferent universe. The lock on the front door, once a symbol of safety, now seemed laughably thin. The family photos on the mantel looked unfamiliar, their smiles directed at a version of me who felt very far away. I wanted to turn on every light, to reclaim the narrative of my own home, but I stayed frozen, afraid that the brightness would only make the set feel flatter, more obviously staged. Then the refrigerator compressor shut off with a soft shudder, and the sudden silence broke the spell. A car passed outside, its tires hissing on wet pavement, a sound of ordinary mechanical life. The room softened, the edges returned to their familiar shapes. I drank the water, tasting nothing but plumbing and habit, and walked back toward the bedroom. As I lay down, the house felt like mine again, but something had cracked. Not fear, not panic, just the quiet knowledge that I was a guest in my own life, passing through a space that would remain long after I had finished moving through it.